Hi, let's talk about teaching your kids to be mindful and to meditate because this is something that I've learned through trial and error. I'm still learning and trying things and figuring it out as I go. But I realized a while ago that I needed to approach things differently because when my kids, who are 5 and 3, started getting very emotional and activated and acting out as a way to get those emotions out, I realized that telling them, take a deep breath in those moments was not helpful. They would say, I can't, or I don't know how, or they would just flat out refuse, like, I'm not going. They were already past the level of trying to regulate themselves. So what I realize is that I need to approach this similarly to how I've taught myself to manage big feelings and regulate my own emotions when I feel like I'm getting out of control or whatever. And that is practicing when you're not feeling activated, because the more we can practice in a controlled environment, like just sitting here, going about my day, taking a couple minutes to be really mindful, to take some deep breaths, that's what is going to train my body to then, and my brain to then, when I start getting activated, use these coping skills to bring my levels down, and turn my, higher thinking brain back on so that I can properly manage other things or whatever it is I'm doing. So it started in preschool, that their preschool teacher taught them to take deep breaths by pretending you're going to sniff a flower and then blow out a candle. And that teaches them the right way to breathe. Kids are already really good at breathing into their bellies, a lot better than adults are, thanks to our posture and our sitting and our hunching and stuff like that. So they already pretty much know how to breathe correctly. It's just a matter of getting them to take those big, deep inhales and complete exhales into their bellies. Yes, buddy. Let me help you. Hold on. So yeah, it started with preschool, where their teacher, wonderful teacher, told them to breathe in like they're sniffing a flower and then breathe out like they're blowing a candle. And that is beautiful. That's great. But what I realized is we weren't practicing enough when we were calm to transfer, that skill set to when the emotions are really high. It's kind of like, I think of it as when you're training a puppy, you have to train them with as little stimulus around as possible at first. So teaching them their name or teaching them to sit. You do it where there's no distractions. Then you have to teach them how to do the exact same thing when there are distractions. So maybe in a bigger room with other people, and then you take it a step further by doing it outside on a walk, and then maybe another dog walks by and you reteach them that. So I realized that just teaching them a couple times was not going to help them turn it into a skill that they automatically start using. So I realized pretty quickly that we need to practice it more regularly. I got these off Amazon. They are Little Renegades Mindful Kids Bedtime. And they are really, I like these. These are really beautiful. Like the art is really beautiful on them. Watercolor styles. And there's all different things. So there are calming exercises, mindful breathing, guided meditations, mindful touch, I think is the last one. So there's things like a trunk massage. And so it has like a little affirmation type thing, or like a message. Your spine is a strong tree. Feel the softness across each inch. And then it walks you through how to do the exercise. So you get comfortable, begin with some slow, deep breaths, close the eyes, and then give them a little massage down their spine, stopping at each vertebrae, and pretend the arms are branches and stuff like that. So these are really lovely. That's a mindful touch one. There's mindful breathing. So this one's butterfly breaths. And it says, with each new breath, you release any worries to the wind. Same thing, start with some slow, deep breaths. Then cross his arms and put his hands under his armpits to create wings. And as the butterfly opens its wings, we breathe in deeply, and then slowly, as you gradually open your wings. Now as the butterfly closes its wings, take a deep breath again as you slowly count down from 3. So you get the idea. Really beautiful art. We had a phase where I would have the kids pick one of these each, and we would do it at bedtime, which I think was good, and helped kind of relax and introduce some of those ideas. And what I found was sometimes the kids just weren't into it, or they picked, and this is better, they picked a couple that they really liked, and then they wanted to do it like every night, which was great. I mean, it's a good tool. The other thing I started doing, and that I've been doing more recently, is called rainbow breaths. And I just taught family yoga at Society Yoga. We did this there. I don't know, everyone really likes it. And the key that I've learned with teaching kids to be mindful and to meditate is that you have to keep it really short and sweet, which is fine. It's good. That's how you start with as a parent too. You find a minute to take a couple deep breaths, and that's all it really takes to get started on that path. But also it's pretty fun for the kids, and it can be a special kind of like bonding moment, as well as you kind of share what's coming up for you, what you're thinking and stuff like that. So if you want to try this with your kids, I'd love to hear what you think, what they thought of it and stuff like that. So first, you do want to get seated or lay down or whatever. It's great before bed when they're already kind of tucked into bed, just laying there. And I tell them to close their eyes, take a couple deep breaths first. And then we get started by saying, take a big deep breath. Do you want to do it with me? You're going to sit on my lap here?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have to show them how we do rainbow breaths, okay? So close your eyes. Take a few big deep breaths in. And then we're going to start with the color red. So as you breathe in, what does red smell like to you?
My red glasses.
Your red glasses. And then breathe out. And as we breathe in, what does orange smell like to you?
Oranges.
Oranges. And breathe out. And we breathe in yellow. What's yellow smell like?
The yellow sun.
The yellow sun.
Yeah, it hurts me.
And what does green smell like? Big deep breath in.
Green grapes.
Green grapes. And breathe out. And blue, breathe in. What does blue smell
sky.
like? The sky. Breathe out. And we breathe in purple. What does it smell like?
Purple grapes.
Purple grapes. We breathe out. Maybe we take a couple more deep breaths.
Wait, what? What?
Huh?
What?
What do you mean? We're just taking extra deep breaths. Feels good, huh? And then we're done. Okay. Yeah, so that's it. Do you like that one, Ryder?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can
you
teach
asked
them
for that.
this?
Huh?
Can you do the staircase? Teach them this.
I was gonna do the staircase in another video.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so we did it. Just a few notes that I wanted to bring up. That exhale is probably the most important part because the exhale, extending out that exhale, whether we're talking about kids or adults, is what's going to signal to the body to flip out of that fight, flight, freeze mode and into a calmer, higher, again, that higher thinking part of your brain. Allow that to come back online so that we can start thinking more rationally. So yeah, if you're doing that with your kids, don't rush through it and say, breathing all the different colors, make sure you get them to really, I always like to make the noise out because I feel like kids respond to it a little bit more, and also it's fun. It's very, it makes you feel physically lighter, which can help too. So as you can see, Ryder really likes that one. He came out of his room and put his tablet down to come do that with me. So kids love it. I love it. Another thing, if you notice, he sat on my lap, and what's important with that, whether you have a big kid or a little kid, when you're practicing, and if it feels good for everyone, maybe you do have some physical connection while you practice together, because co-regulation is a huge part of helping them, especially when they're very, very emotional. Because if you can keep yourself calm, and then you touch them, heart rates start to sync up, breathing rates start to sync up. So practicing it together is just really nice, warm, and snuggly. But then if he's getting really, really upset and he's okay with it, I'm going to hold him while we take some deep breaths together. And I'm going to keep my body very, very calm because, again, I've practiced this probably way more than he has. I mean, I know I have practiced it way more than he has. Hopefully you're practicing it way more than your kids, and not just with your kids, even though that's a great place to begin. But I'm able to keep my body and my mind very calm so that through the physical touch, he can begin to co-regulate, and he's using his own coping skills to calm his body down and his brain down again. So that's important. And just another note about family yoga. If you're local, I'd love it if you came to do this with us. My point is that I had two little babies in class with us today. So I had like my bigger kids, another big kid, and then two little babies. And when I was thinking about planning my class, I was kind of like, man, how am I going to tie in this mindfulness and meditation with these little babies? Because it's important to me, even for like kids yoga and family yoga, to pull in that mindfulness, because I think it's so beneficial, especially for kids who are dealing with a lot and life is hard and this and that, you know. I want them to get that. So how can we start at a very, very young age? And what I realized is that obviously that co-regulation is still huge, even when, baby is not upset. So maybe we as moms hold our babies and practice those deep breaths and that mindfulness for ourselves while simply holding our baby, allowing their body to co-regulate to, match our breathing rates and heart rates and stuff like that. And hopefully that translates as they, because these are 10 and 12-month-old babies, they likely are not really having tantrums and emotional outbursts. It's probably just crying over this or that. But as these young babies start to get to a place where they are tantruming and crossing boundaries and testing boundaries and all that, and then they're throwing a fit because they're trying to figure everything out, hopefully starting with them as an infant like that co-regulation can then translate to some mindful breathing and, you know, physical contact as we take deep breaths for ourselves, and hopefully the toddlers can start to pick up on some of that. That remains to be seen. It's maybe going to be my own little experiment through my parents that come with little kids. But I think the theory is sound, because everything with physical touch is so huge. Co-regulation is scientifically proven. So yeah, I'm rambling now, but yeah, I hope you try this with your kids. Like Ryder mentioned, I have another little guided visualization that my kids really like. It's a staircase that we do. And as you can see, he asked for that one all the time as well. So I will share that at another time, but yeah, I hope you try this with your kids. I hope you let me know, how it goes for you and what they think. And I hope that you can practice it, on a daily or every other day basis, because again, practicing when you're calm is the only way that you're going to train your mind and body to use those skills when you start to get emotional and activated. And the same is true for kids, for adults, everyone. You have to practice in order for it to be what you do when you get upset. It's not going to happen on its own, I promise. All right, have a good one.